So, hi guys, I am Managing B. Ibanez and I'm here in front of you to discuss of my final project IT3. So, scenario. As a network administrator, you are tasked to design a network that's suitable for the company's need. Here's what they need. The company has four departments: IT department, sales department, marketing department, and administration department. These four these four departments is the router, and the IT department manage the DNS server and the web servers that has a total of 5 hosts. Sales department has 50 hosts, while marketing department has 20 hosts. Lastly, the administration department has 10 hosts. So, the IP address 192.168.4.0 of CIDR subnet mask is 24 is the given address to use for subnetting the cater needs of each department. All four departments should be connected using any routing protocol of your preference. The important thing is that they will be connected. Provide the information such as subnet table and calculation using Excel file. It should contain all the calculation and and table that you have used for the task. So this is my calculation of my subnetting. I use BLSM. It's very compatible. It's easy for me to use BLSM. So as you can see, I have subnet 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. The host is 256, 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, and 1. My CIDR subnet is 24, 25, 26, 78, 9, 30, 31, 32. The subnet mask of like 225 by the 24, 128, 192, 224, 240, 248, 252, 254, 255. How do I compute this? Start in 128 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 because 225 is a 8 uh 8 tawag dito 8 of computation. So the department has looking for the 5 hosts. So 5 hosts is 8. 8 8 is a CIDR is 29. So the hosts we don't use for based on hosts of 4 because it's not compatible to use by the given host. So sa network ID is 192.168 that start on the 0. So add 8 is 0.8 and add it again 16, 24, and so on. So until it get 192.168.4.112. So subnet mask is 29. The host range is the number of usable is 6. So my usable host ID range is 192.168.113 until 118. So the broadcast ID is 192.168.4.199. So let's see on the packet tracer. My packet tracer is this. When I open the packet tracer config, there is IP address given by the host ID range. So I use 192.168.4.113. The subnet mask is 248. So let's go on to the DNS. Facebook DNS. Desktop IP configuration. The IP configuration of the sa DNS is what is your DNS here of IP address and used for the IP address in the DNS server. So 192.168.4.114 because it's based on the host ID range on the default gateway is the router. So 113 DNS server. So let's go on to the services, the DNS. DNS server is where your record or where your network that encoding of what you want to look to type of what you siya yung nagtatawag ng uh, nagtatawag ng network kung ano yung gusto mong buksan. Well, let's go on the HTTP. We click on the index HTML, edit, and this is the program. The program is where for the encoder purposes. So, this program is when you try to program it, so be sure that you save it because without save, your program is nothing. So let's go on. Same as we do that YouTube web by the by taking by encoding the IP address. So this is the IP address use of the YouTube. Same of what I did in the Facebook and subnet mask 248, default gateway of the router of IT department is 113, and same of the IP address of PF4, same of the DNS, same of DNS of you sa Facebook. Without you, if you use DNS server of other LAN 2 of computer, without if the LAN 2 use the YouTube of IP address, you cannot open this without the DNS service. So you should type this ID's DNS service records address to open this 3 DNS. So let's go on to the serial. By serialing is you should do that what you put in the IP address of computation of each LAN 2, LAN 3, and LAN 4, you put their IP address on the serial of where they connected. So, let's go on the LAN 2, sales department. Sales department computation is looking for the 50 hosts. So, the 50 hosts is basing on the 64 hosts. So, 64 hosts is 64 plus, it's not 64. So, I use 192.168 ID number in the subnet mask is 26. I use this range, host ID range for my network packet tracer. So, the usable host 62, broadcast ID is 63. So, same as my computation of host subnetting in the host 5. So 64 plus 64 is 2128. 128 plus 64 is 192. So this is my subnet mask. Subnet mask uh is 192 because 26 is 192. See that mask. So back in the packet tracer, that when be sure that your packet tracer, be sure that your IP configuration is right. The DNS server is 114 of Facebook. It's okay. Any of DNS server that you use is compatible. So the gateway of LAN 2, the subnet mask, the host ID range, and when we open the web browser, I want to open Facebook. The oops. Face Facebook.com. Wait for a few minutes, double click and write. And this is what you see. Facebook. I want open to YouTube. YouTube. Double click yun. This is it's compatible. Same if what we do in the LAN 2 of the computer, PC0, you should do in same thing on the PC1. So the PC1 computation is the range of my host ID range of host 50. So I use DNS server of PIP 115 192.168.4.115 DNS server. So when we open web browser, I want to open web.com. Web.com. There. So I want to use laptop for the wireless laptop. Wireless laptop has a password of 1 ABCDE 12345 to connect the access point of wireless. So the IP configuration with this IP address is sometimes the IP address the laptop didn't read the IP address you input because it's a wireless and this wireless is can access only to the wireless because of there is a password. So 192.168.4 is 4. The and subnet mask is 192. 192. Then the server when we use web browser space when what if I didn't input in the record I want input the IP address of the name of I open the YouTube IP address 192.168.4.115 here. Whenever this IP address is on the record of the DNS. So that the marketing department computation. Marketing department is looking for the 20 hosts. So the 20 hosts is on the computation of hosts of 32. So the host of 32 is 32 plus 32 is 64. So I use 64 for my ID of my network on the packet tracer. So 64, the subnet mask is 27. The host ID range is 192.168.4.65 until 94. The number of usable hosts is 30 because when 65, 66, 67, 68, 69 until 40 is 30. So the broadcast ID is 95. So the broadcast ID, as I said earlier, that 32 minus 1 is 31. So 31 plus 32 is 63 until and so on. And my IP address, I mean subnet mask computation. This is the 224 is this 224 is basing of the subnet mask of 27. So, let's go back to the computation. So, the computation, what you did, the LAN 2 is you do in the LAN 3. So, LAN 2, LAN 3 is 192.168.4.65. The subnet is 22224. By serialing of this LAN 3, what you, as I said earlier, is what this is the router or the LAN number. This serial 00, this what I connect on the LAN 4, LAN 2, and LAN 3. So, same computation. So, IP configuration, same what I did. So, I want to web browser. Web browser is facebook.com here. So, administration department. The computation of administration department of LAN 4, it's this administration looking for 10 hosts. 10 hosts is on the computation of host 16. So, 16 plus 16 is 24. 24 plus 16 is 40. Until 16 plus 40 and so on. So that I use this computation for my packet tracer 192.168.4.96. And this is my host ID range. So I use this in the packet tracer for the computation. Usable host 14. ID broadcast. Then 225 is 240. So let's go back to the packet tracer. Same thing of the LAN 2 on how did you do in the LAN 2, LAN 3. This you do the same thing on the LAN 4. IP configuration, serialing, PC, um, web browsing, 192.168.4.114. Facebook. On laptop, same thing. Address, web browser, 192.168.4.115. YouTube. How did I connect the wireless? Wireless is before you should be turned off your laptop before you change the wireless You should device, wireless device. So this wireless is based on the password. Without this password, you can connect the access point. So and so on. By serialing, I have serial A, serial B, serial C, and serial D. The so and so on. So same. So I want to send message on LAN 2 to LAN 4. It's successful. Here, successful. So by simulation, let's do a simulation thing. I want faster. It's too. So the simulation is check and progress, check, progressing. So I want to send message this PC4 to the DNS. Successful. Because without the serial, you can connect the LAN 4 to the LAN 1. Same also on the LAN 4. So I use X of serialing because this serial is provide that the correct computation, the correct serialing of each. Because if we use serial on LAN 2 and LAN 3, you can connect LAN 2 to LAN 4 because it's without there is no serial serial of this LAN 2 and LAN 4. So I didn't use box type. So I use box and X with X. So let's go back to the final um, computation, the checklist. Able to perform the basic LAN setup? Complied. Able to use proper cables for every connection? I complied. Able to perform IIPOS PF routing protocol? I complied. Able to set up DNS server? I complied. Able to perform FLSM and VLSM subnetting? I use VLSM? Yes, I complied. Because it's easy on me to compute the subnetting of the host. Part networking design. Utilize nodes for IP address and subnet mask. Yes, I complied, but some it's for the uh it's complied on the router. Accurate subnet calculation. I complied. Organized network design. I organize. I don't think it's good for the what you look. Utilize correct networking equipment according to its function. Yes. Overall and output and provide. Yes, I did what I want to do or what you want. And this is for my um final project of my uh final project of IT3. So and that's all. I'm Anijin B. Ibanez and signing off.